What does letting go look like?
Just let.
It ain't that easy.
Bruh.
Especially when you talking to a mom.
Nah, but I'm saying though, like, oh, my kid is doing something ignorant or whatever, or let me record it.
Yeah. Like
let me put it on the internet. Let's go viral. Well, I just want to say there ain't no spankings going on in this world.
I agree.
And I think that's what's wrong with the kids and the youth in this world. What up, everybody? Welcome back to the She Say, He Say podcast. We on episode 6, everybody. We on episode 6, man. We rolling through. And today, we talking about the kids, but we talking about them in a different aspect now. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel very strongly about this. I don't have kids, but I have seen the evolution of the kids' behavior from the way I was brought up to how they are now. So I wanted to talk about that, but before we get into that, please, y'all, like the video, subscribe to the channel, send this to your friend. Hey, y'all know what it is. Y'all help us out, and we're gonna bring y'all content every week. That's what it is. So I'm here as always with my sister Brandy Banks.
Hi guys.
That's how she do her thing. I don't know. That's her thing, y'all. So we talking about the kids, man. And I'm interested to hear from you because you got kids.
Yes.
And the way I was brought up, I was not necessarily with fear, but I was brought up there was discipline. That my parents was not my friends.
Right.
And I feel like nowadays kids, like when I was around older people, it didn't matter if you asked or not, but you didn't say curse words. You was respectful. It was yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And now I feel like kids, I guess with the internet and everything going on, it's ludicrous out here, man. And yeah. I don't honestly, I don't even blame it on the kids. I blame it on the parents.
Right. I mean, I think that there is a movement from like what's going on in the world from then to now. I think we are, and I say we because I'm a part of that generation where all of the, how we talked about in the last episode, all of the not communicating with your kids, not letting your kids have an opinion, not being able to allow them the respect just because they're kids bothers me. So at the end of the day, you know, it's like I don't want to be their friend, but I also want to give them an opportunity to voice their opinions, to have a say, so that they're used to it out in the world. You know, I feel like, you know, we're always like, oh, a kid should stay in a kid's place. What is that place? What does that look like? Because for me, it was silent. It was, you didn't speak unless spoken to. Now, I'm not saying it was, I lived in a strict household. We grew up with, with the Christian background. So spankings were a part of our childhood. I was never terrified, but I know kids that are terrified of their parents and being able to say whatever they want to say because they're scared of the belt, or they're scared of the whooping, or they're scared of whatever.
And you think that's wrong? I'm sorry.
I don't think it's wrong, but I don't think it instills fear. And let's go back to slavery. That's how they instill fear.
What are you talking about right now?
And listen, because that's where we picked it up from. If you look at the history of beatings, right? Slaves were beat to be put in their place to make sure that they did what they were supposed to do. If not, that was a consequence. And then, and I've spoken to a lot of older people before they were passing, that was something that was passed down. Like that's what they picked up in that slavery time.
All right, so
I just feel like you're instilling this fear, and I get it because I want my kids to be disciplined. I want my kids to be respectful, and this, that, and the third. But I don't think I have to beat them all the time.
So I feel like we taking this and we going like way too far. Like the fact you even mention slavery, I feel like is way too far.
Because you have to know the history of behind spankings.
I do not care about where spankings came from. I do not care. Like I don't care where they came from. if your kids are out of control and spankings help them be in control, like you telling me, oh, to discipline my kids, it came from slavery, so I can't do it no more.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the history behind it.
So what are we mentioning the history for? Let's just talk about spankings.
Because what spankings did, what beatings did, was instill fear, right? That's why the slave masters did it. Now parents did it. So now we've gotten away from that because everybody's like, oh my gosh, we're beating our kids, we're doing this, we're doing that.
But let's think about it like this. You ain't get away from fear. You show up on time to work for what? Because you're scared to get fired. Because you need that money. You know what I'm saying? You show up on time and stuff. You do what you're supposed to do because of what? Because you're scared of the consequences. There's nothing wrong.
But it's not a physical harm that you're doing.
You don't have a physical fear, but you have a fear of the consequences.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like my kids grew up in the spanking era. Like I spanked my kids. I had no problems with it. I think as they've gotten older, I've definitely gotten away from the spankings.
Well, I just want to say there ain't enough spankings going on in this world.
I agree.
And I think that's what's wrong with the kids and the youth in this world.
I agree, and I think that I think that there's a thing where when it comes down to, especially when it comes to my household, having a conversation. Like my kids, like, okay, let's just be real. I curse like a sailor. I know I do. Mm-hmm. But my kids dare not curse in front of me. I'm sure that they curse outside, but they will not, out of respect, curse in front of me.
But that respect came from where? Because there were consequences.
Right, and I am the same way with my parents. My parents know I curse like a sailor, but I do not curse in front of them.
Exactly.
I have trained myself not to curse in front of them.
But you learn because there were consequences, whether they were psychological, whether they was mental.
Yeah, true.
I mean, whether it was physical, there was consequences. That's why you don't do it. That's why I don't do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you respect your elders, because
but now it's a thing where you got these kids who are growing up, and it could have been me and my oldest son, because had a kid at a young age. Now I was my late teens, 19 years old, and it could have went a different way, where me and him were more friends than parent. But sometimes I look at him and it's like, because we're so close in age, or we're so, like the gap isn't as far as you would think it is.
Right.
And because he grew up under you all, I kind of sometimes forget this is my son. It's not my brother.
Right. Like I look at him, I don't look at him. I look at your youngest son as a nephew. I don't look at your oldest son as a nephew. I look at your oldest son as a little brother.
Yeah, because he grew up with you guys.
Right. But at the same time, he grew up with us, and he also grew up in that setting where, bro, somebody will put hands on you if you're not if you're not acting right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like today it's like everything is, on the internet. I'll record this if you touch me. Or I'll do this. I'll do that. Everybody wants to be.
Or it's catered to. Or it's the parent trying to be the homie. Like I have seen so many videos, which throws me completely off. But where the parents is smoking weed with the kid.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. If you smoke weed, you smoke weed, and I get that. But there's certain things that me and my kids just ain't doing together.
At least until he gets to a certain age.
Right. I mean, even Christian drinks. I know he drinks. He's 22 years old. He can drink. I can drink. I know that I drink. Mm-hmm. There are, at one point, he was afraid to pop a beer or a bottle in my face, in my presence.
Dad will not, and I actually, I don't know, but he will not hand me a drink. Mm-mm. Like, he'll go in the refrigerator, I'll be like, yo, pass me a beer. He'll be like, nope. He will not.
He doesn't condone it for us as his children. He will not hand us.
He will not hand me.
No.
It will not come from his hand to mine and give me a drink. But as weird as I thought that was the first time it happened, I respect it because he's not my friend.
Right, and he's not crossing the line to show you
exactly
that this is a friendship. So here's your beer.
And nowadays, like you go out, like I try to go out. I play ball, so I try to go out, try to help kids. And now kids just say what they want, they do what they want, and they just think there's no consequence. And it's like it's people out here trying to help you, and you just have no respect for anything.
Yeah.
And
like I got a girlfriend who is, we've been friends for years, and what you do with your kids is what you do with your kids. I can't, but one day this kid dropped like 5 F-bombs, and I'm just like, and he's the same age as my youngest son. So for me, my youngest son is looking at me like, Mom, and I'm like, yo, like you better not ever.
Yeah.
I can't be around that particular kid because to me it's disrespectful, and we are not on the same level. So you cursing at me, hey, that's not gonna fly.
Right.
You're not even grown enough to curse, let alone you gonna curse at me or with me. Nah, we not doing that because I'm not your homie. I'm not your homie, and whatever goes on in her house is what goes on in her house. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I know that if I allow my kids to curse in front of me, it's almost like giving them the right to curse at me. And I'm not having that. So I just feel like we've come to a place where it's like a friendship more so than parenting. And I'm guilty of it. Like I joke with my kids all the time. We got inside stuff. I argue with the youngest, like he's my brother.
That drives me crazy, boy.
Yeah, and it's like, and we are one of the same. Me and him are just alike. So we go at it just alike. But there's still boundaries that he won't cross because I am still his parent. So ain't no cursing me out, ain't no raising your hand at me. That boy is 6'3". And he's 155 pounds or something like that, like the last time we checked. He's a big dude. He could take me out. He could try. But at the end of the day, he ain't gonna do that because he know better. 1, because out of respect for me being his mother, and then 2, he know that he gonna have a world of trouble when it comes down to y'all, Christian and Dad. So I just feel like we have gotten to a place where we're trying to cater to our children, and we're catering to them so much that they don't know what pain feels like.
Hey.
And it's like, and I'm not judging anybody. If it's mental health and things like that, but we are watching so many of our kids commit suicide and this, that, and the third, all because they don't know how to manage pain.
And I ain't even, because when you say pain, I feel like that's kind of like, that's you could say that's a strong word. For me, it's discomfort. You're not comfortable. You don't like the situation you in, and now I can bring attention to myself and do so. I can hurt myself. I can do this. I can do that. And I'm like, bro, I never even thought about that. Like, why is it that now it's becoming? For me, it's becoming almost like a trend.
It is.
And I think if you get to that point that it's like it's a trend, it's something that's you can't tell me that it's an illness or something. That's not what it is. It's a trend.
I mean, I think it stems from being coddled, but then I also feel like it then turns into a mental health thing because.
But it's not a mental health thing. Like you were born with that, you have no control over it.
No, but I think like depression. So like I dealt with depression. I have to catch myself. Not because, and it started at 13, and not because something happened. I just went into a depression. All of a sudden, I just started wearing black, and I started listening to like, all of these like really dark songs and things like that. And so, I agree. I think that you have to be careful about the people that you surround your kids with, yourself, because that whatever madness is going on can be fed into your spirit, right? So for me, I like the streets. I love the streets. I love the going to the hood and hanging out. And, as I got older, I was drinking. And now don't get me wrong, I still worked. I still did what I had to do. But that was my pastime. I loved it. But I had to watch what I was feeding myself. because I still deal with depression. I can feel when I am in the bed all day, it's dark, I got the blackout curtains shut and all of that. I have to force myself, like, get up, get in the shower, get dressed, whatever. And we came from the same household. I thought about, I didn't think about suicide. I thought about cutting, but I'm such a punk that was going to hurt too bad. So I ain't want to do it no more. But at the end of the day, I think it became a sickness. It didn't start as a sickness. It became a sickness for me. So that's what I'm saying. The way that we coddle our children now, like, I ain't gonna lie to you. The kid is 16 and bigger than I am, and I still don't want him hurt. I was driving in the car the other day to go see one son, took the other one with me, 5-hour ride. I look in the back. I want to make sure that he's not sweating, that he's okay, that he's comfortable. He's 16.
So he should be able to say something. Exactly.
I had to catch myself. But that's me being a parent wanting to coddle this kid that I now have to let go. So what does that look like for me? What does letting go look like?
Just let.
It ain't that easy.
Bruh.
Especially when you talking to a mama.
No, but I'm saying though, like, you say it's not that easy, but at the end of the day, when you keep coddling and you keep trying to make life easy for them, you really crippling them.
I get it. And that's why I have to make sure that there's certain things that I do where it's just like, yeah, okay, I can't, he wants to get his license. We can't get his license because his grades ain't great. I can't back down from that because he'll continue to think like, oh, I ain't got to do nothing. I can still, I can get my license and bring home the worst of the worst grades that I've ever seen in my life. So for me, I have to stand on something. There are things that he can't do because he can't do what he's supposed to do in school. Whereas though the oldest one did everything. Now, there are times where he had to be punished or something like that, but I didn't have to drastically punish him. I raised the youngest in a different time. I watched myself, he's the baby. I watched myself coddle him. I watched myself try to protect him. At some point, I got to let go because he's a man. He's growing into a man. And I can't protect him all the time. I think another thing, and, I want to be fair to everybody, but, raising black men is hard.
Oh, it's
especially when you're a single mother. There are times where I've watched my kid, the oldest one, go out at night and, he's hanging out, whatever. He's 21 years old. And I can't sleep until I know he crosses that threshold because the world is against him when he goes out.
Hey, I mean, I think, now that's a whole nother, but just me, just paying attention to how I was raised. It's like just for instance, like when I look, so I went to school in Tennessee. So I get down there and there's a whole bunch of white people and I don't have no problems with nobody. I can blend in with anybody, but it's like I get down there and they tell me, different stories about their childhood or whatever. And I look at how my first lesson, how I learned to drive. I didn't learn to put the car in drive, step on the brake, turn the car on. Nah, it wasn't none of that. It was like you got it. My father drove me to an empty parking lot. He said, switch seats with me. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna turn the car on, I'm gonna drive. He was like, nah, so now you need to learn how to get pulled over by the police.
Right.
And make it home alive. And I'm like, what? Now, later on, I realized that was necessary. But, and now that I'm older, I look back and I'm like, it's a lot different to raise a African-American kid because our reality isn't the same.
There's a lot more challenge.
Like me and Mo, our older brother, was in the car driving down the street and this lady cop rolled by us. Now he told me, I had on a tank top. I was young and that was back before I turned over a new leaf. That was back when I was kind of crazy. But I had the dreads going. I'm out there, had the hat, whatever, and I'm driving down the street. But I wasn't bothering nobody. It was just me and him. I think we was going like Uncle Boopie's house or something. I don't know what we was doing. We was driving and literally got on Branch Avenue right there, and the lady drove by us. She was flying by us, looked in the car, And I mean, it looked like she stepped on the brakes like Fred Flintstone, like put her feet out the bottom of the car. I'm talking about slammed on the brakes, bro. Pulled back, like pulled me over, and was like, didn't have no reason to pull me over. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? It was just, now it was a white lady, but it was like, it's totally different because just, there's no other reason for her to pull me over, except for the color of my skin. So it's just like, that's another reason why I feel like we gotta stop being our kids' friends, especially in the black community, is because ain't nobody else they friends.
Right.
So I'm not saying you gotta beat them down all the time and you gotta be like everybody else, but you need to slightly prepare them for that. Like if you just trying to be their friend all the time and then they go out here thinking that I can say what I want, I can do what I want, I can, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you'll get yourself into some trouble.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where we are now in society. It's like I can do what I want, I can say what I want. You know, I was watching something the other day where this kid, he was shot. And the mother had no clue where he was. It's a teenager. He was like 13, 14 years old. 4 o'clock in the morning, he shot dead because he was trying to, I believe it was like rob a car or something like that. And the mother's like, well, I didn't know where he was. Why don't you know where he was?
Yeah.
That my kids are not sneaking out this house without me knowing that they are out this house.
Yeah.
Whether it's an alarm or whatever the case is, I am going to know where they are.
Yeah. And because even back in the day before, because now we got the Ring, we got alarms, we got all that. But back in the day, it was like, yo, if you leaving, if you changing direction, I need to know where you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even today, like I go and come as I please. You know what I'm saying? I do what I want. But I'm on flights though. But it's like I want, because I am a black man, I want somebody to know, yeah, I was at least in this state. Like I knew he was in this state. You know what I'm saying? So I do, like I'll send my itinerary to somebody so they know where I'm at.
Even with mom. Mom is like, hey, you know, I need your flight number so I can track the flight.
Yeah.
She tracks all of our flights.
All of them.
She wants to know that we made it, where we gonna go. She wants to know when we getting back on the plane. Like she wants to know all of that. It's not a controlling thing. It's just her being a mother and making sure that we safe. Period. We are still her kids at our ages. That's just what it is. You know, and like for mine, it's like you know, and we were just talking about this the other day. New Year's is a big deal for me. I went out years ago with, you know, some friends, went to a hotel party, and they started shooting. These people just started shooting on New Year's, which is a thing in DC and Maryland and Virginia. People just shoot midnight.
They shoot people?
No, they shoot in the air.
Oh,
like they shoot their guns or whatever. So this particular night, they shooting, and this guy shot himself. And I mean, it freaked me out. And so for me, it was like another one was killed on New Year's. Like it was just in a drunk driving situation. Like it was so much negativity that came with New Year's night that for 22 years, my kids don't go out on New Year's. And I know it's out of respect for me, but for 22 years, my kids never went out on New Year's because I had begged them, or I don't even have to beg. I asked them, can we do movie night? I fixed a big dinner. We have drinks. We even have some family come over. But I always want to keep them up under. I know I cannot do that anymore. Yeah. Because they're grown and they need to go. But New Year's frightens me. That's something that I have. So what I've chosen to do this year is to take them on a cruise. And so that's what we love a good cruise. So I'm like, you know what? Best of both worlds. I have them safe with me, and we're gonna have a blast because we enjoy a nice cruise. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's the mother in me.
But I don't think it's crazy. I think is innovative, because you could be that mother's like, all right, well they old now, so they do what they want to do, and then next thing you know, you the next mother that's getting called because there's a drunk driver or whatever. Now, me personally, I prefer to be in the house, not necessarily in the house, but somewhere. Right. And I'm not going nowhere. I'm staying there. Right. I'm not going nowhere, because even in an Uber, your Uber could get hit by another car. Right. You know, but that's something that because I think it was the way that we was raised. It was like, it was always, it doesn't have to be you. I know it's not you because we was raised like that. Yeah. I ain't gonna say I was raised with fear. Like I was scared of my mother. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't scared of my father.
I was about to say, you wasn't.
I was scared of my mother. But I wasn't scared of my father. But they also told us the truth. Like they always say, especially when driving or whatever, you could be dead right. You be 100% right in what you're doing, but you can still be dead. And that, like, I feel like the first time they said that, it sunk in. And I was young. I was a teenager. I was just started driving. But it sunk in because it was like, yeah, you could literally be dead. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody ran a red light, somebody was drunk or whatever. So,
but that's also with parenting though. Like, you have to be careful about what kids and what parents.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
around your children.
In today's day and age, it's just like, yo, for what I see, oh, my kid is doing something ignorant or whatever, or let me record it.
Yeah. Like,
let me put it on the internet. Let's go viral. You know what I'm saying? So they like they encourage it, and I'm like, that's completely the opposite of what you should be doing. And I'm not a parent, but I'm just like, I know how I was raised. And I know, and I look at other kids, and I'm just like, kids are so ignorant that it's sad because they have I can't even talk to you. Like, I can't even give you knowledge of you know, everybody not going to, like, with athletes, everybody's not going to the NFL. Everybody's not going to the NBA. And I can't even tell you about other alternatives because you're not even open to hear it.
Right.
Because your parents have just let you just in a whole different world, a whole different space, and you think it's just this one little bubble. And I'm just like, that is sad. Now, nobody came to me when I was that age and said that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. They didn't. But it's like I would have been open to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's just like that and I think it's kids raising kids, and I think that we as now, I mean, because I feel like I'm in that group. I don't have kids, but I'm in that group. So when I'm around kids, I'm around young adults, and us as people as parents, got to do better.
A lot of them are afraid to hurt their kids' feelings. A lot of them are afraid to, like, I don't believe in a participation award. Just because you participate, you do not get an award.
You lost.
You lost. Win, lose. I'm sorry. It is what it is. That's what life is. You know, everybody's like, you know, all the parents, oh, but they all should get. No, they should not. No, they should not. I mean, that's my thing, because at the end of the day, that's not how life works. If one person got a job that you apply for, they're not going to give you a certificate and pat you on the butt and say, good job, you were runner up. You didn't get the job.
Nope.
So then you need to go out here and do the work and do something else. So I just, you know, it's just funny to me because, like, I because of the way I grew up and because of the way I treat my kids, like, my kids can't go out unless I talk to, you know, when they started dating at 16. They can't go out unless I talk to the parent. And then we come up with a plan. Or you just don't, it's not going to be a random thing where you just go outside and you meet the girl and then y'all going to the movies and this, that, and the third. I'm not just picking some female up. That's so much stuff that can happen in that moment, whether it's in my presence or not.
Wait, so like now Christian you don't have to pick nobody up. He can go pick him up. You still got to meet the person? No,
but I would like to meet the person if he becomes serious, you know, or whatever. But like for Dallas, because I am their ride, because, you know, there's some movement going on, I need to meet the parents. I need to know that the parents, we are all on the same page when it comes to our kids. Yeah. Some parents are shocked by that, which shocks me that they're shocked that I'm calling them or have a conversation with them. I remember Christian wanted to go to a New Year's party one year, and he was a teenager. I think I want to say like freshman in college or senior in high school, something like that. And they weren't old enough to drink. Christian's younger than the rest of them because I put him in school early. So a lot of his friends were 21 before he was. And this mom was like, yeah, you know, I thought I was going to have it I'm going to have it at a hotel. You know, I'm going to have drinks and then they can go home. What do you mean they can go home? So you're going to feed my kids liquor
and then send them home.
Send them home.
And they just started drinking.
And this is a mother. So for me, it was like, okay, see, I can't trust the kid and I can't trust the parent. So therefore, let me just block this off. I'm just going to keep these kids, and I know that I can't keep them sheltered. But I'm like, listen, if I can't keep them in this house, we're going to find somewhere to go. So there's the cruise. But I feel like you have to let these parents are just so busy wanting, they're either too busy in their own lives or they're too busy trying not to hurt their kids. So these kids don't know what is it called? These kids don't know what rejection looks like. Mm-hmm. There are girls out here that are, literally wanting to hurt themselves because one little raggedy boy wants to date another girl. Well, we're in middle school. Who cares? We're in high school. Who cares? Mm-hmm. I know I used to be that girl. It was like, oh my God, you broke my heart. You made me feel a certain type of way because we're not together no more. But it is what it is. But they don't know how to deal with rejection. They don't know how to deal. And when I say pain, that's what I'm talking about. They don't know what that heartbreak feels like.
Cause they ain't got it. They ain't got it at home.
Yeah, and everything's drastic. Oh my God, I need the attention. I need him to look at me. So let me, And I don't know if they don't realize that suicide is, that is just, not only are you hurting yourself, but you are killing your parents.
And that honestly, and I don't know if people are gonna be angry at me for saying this, but that's what I feel like it's selfish. Like, yeah, your pain, you going through something and it's over for you, but you leaving a ton of people behind that got to deal with that for years. So I feel like, whatever, and that's the thing. That's why I feel like a lot of people they're not accustomed to dealing with discomfort. Like, for me, me being uncomfortable is normal. Right. But that's because that's how we was raised. And I feel like that's how more people should be raised. But
that's where your fight comes from.
Exactly.
That shows if I'm uncomfortable and I'm faced with it, then that shows how tough I am to get through that.
But no, I agree with you 100%. But it's like, now it's like, oh, I'm gonna do it, and I feel like a lot of times like, oh, I'm gonna do this because nobody's paying me any attention. Like, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, or whatever. Well, now it's over.
Yeah.
And now you left people behind, and now they depressed, and now they gotta go to therapy. Now they gotta go through all of this because you just wanted to just tap out. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's a whole, that's a sensitive topic and all of that. But I just feel like that wasn't the case when we was coming up. It wasn't so prevalent. Like this whole, oh yeah, I'm gonna just get it over with. Well, what you doing? It's just starting now. You know what I'm saying? You killing yourself. Now that's a trickle effect that's about to happen to your whole family. You don't know how people gonna accept that. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like,
and you don't know what's at the end of your tunnel, like your rainbow. Like, you have no idea because you're in the early stages of it, and because you are not dealing with it, and like I said, so many parents are either consumed in their own lives or calling so that these kids don't feel the hurt. Sometimes, and it's funny because Dad taught me that. When I had my kids, he was like, don't you run over there and wipe him off. Mm-hmm. Let him get up on his own, come over here, and then you put a Band-Aid on it. But you don't go over there and carry him. So sometimes a lot of my friends say, you too tough for me. Like, that's not going to work. But at the end, I watch my kids now that dust themselves off. It's like, I don't need my mother for that. I'm good. I got it. I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
But we do got to get back to a place where we're parenting, and we got to get back to a place that other people can help you parent. Because what I feel like, it's so many kids that I want to just be like, listen, we have a basketball court in front of our house, and I have to tell, don't curse in front, not on my court. We're not gonna do that. There's no profanity. There's no drinking. There's no smoking. And they come back at me. That's my house. Hey. And you coming back at me. So what I do is I tell them, go get the parent. You go get your parent, and we'll have that conversation.
Hey, because kid, I been hurt somebody's kid, man.
But and it's like, and I want them to have a good time. I want them. That's why we got it. And for my kids, for them in a new area or whatever. But you know, I'm afraid to say something because it's like this kid can either shoot me or something else, you know, and it's just sad that that's where we are now. You know, I'm quick to pop off, but my kids are like, Mom, like you gotta find some chill. You really do. Because I don't tolerate disrespect. I won't. And
honestly, it's disrespect. Like, I could not even think about disrespecting somebody that was older than me. Like, all right, somebody in my age range or whatever, like you my peer. If I want to disrespect you, I disrespect you. Like, we had to deal with that. We had to deal with it. But I'm not gonna disrespect nobody that's older than me. And I feel like that's where we dropping the ball.
Yeah.
And we got to get back. I feel like more people need to watch the Cosby Show. Honestly, I mean, you say what you want about
Cosby up.
You say what you want about Bill Cosby.
I mean, but we need to.
But the Cosby Show.
But we need all of that. I mean, Family Matters, Cosby Show, Different World, all of that. I mean, it just gave you a, you know, outlook on different aspects of life. Mm-hmm. So Different World, you had the college life, you know, Cosby Show, you had the teens, you had the little ones, you had all of that. Family Matters, you had all. But out of all of that, they never disrespected their elders or each other. Or
they tried, and when it happened, it was consequences.
Right.
And I feel like that's what's important.
And it doesn't involve a spanking. It don't involve a beating. Because I don't think you ever saw in the Cosby Show or any Family Matters, any of them, where they spank their child. Right. Now, spare the rod, spoil the child, got it. That's in the Bible.
I'm whooping my kids.
But at the end of the day, out of the love that I think that my biggest thing I wanted to show my kids when I had children, it was all about love. It was about respect, honesty, making sure that they had a good life. We had a good life growing up. And it's funny that I say that now because I rebelled against that life, but looking at going back to the 80s and looking at Facebook and all of this stuff that, you know, people post, and it's like, oh, I had that doll. I had that. And then I think about it, like, we had a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of things that other people didn't have. Nintendo, you know, just all of this stuff. And we weren't poor. Now, I don't think I ever thought we were poor, but it's just like
I think we had our phases.
Yeah, we had but we had a great childhood though.
And I think our parents
we didn't go on trips.
Nah.
We didn't go out the country or nothing like that, but Dad made sure that Rehoboth Beach was light for us. So, like...
Or if we was going through a rough patch and we had to eat bologna sandwiches or cheese sandwiches,
he did it
Mom was like, oh, tonight we're going to have... It was something special.
Right.
So it wasn't like...
Upside down day.
Yeah,
we wasn't... We had breakfast for dinner. Yeah. And all the time I thought it's because she liked breakfast. I didn't know it was because we didn't have meat at that moment. I never thought about that.
Time out. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yes. You didn't know that?
No,
she would not. She would run out of meat for that particular day or whatever, and we would have upside down day. I always thought, I just learned this myself. So, yeah, it took me how long to get it? But I asked her, and she was like, no, it's because I didn't have enough dinner for everybody, so we did upside down day. Yeah, mind blown.
What?
Sorry, Mom. Yeah, that's why we had upside down day.
And
we never knew that. We never knew that was an issue.
Yo, I'm 34 years old, man. What?
Upside down day.
I thought upside down. I thought that was a thing. Like I went to Brazil. I was like, yeah, we have upside down day today.
No, Mom made that up.
Oh my goodness, that was wild. Yeah, you heard it first.
Yep, Mom made it up so that we would have breakfast for dinner because she didn't have enough of whatever it was for dinner. So she flipped it, and we would have breakfast. And not just any breakfast. We had pancakes, eggs, bacon. We would have all of that. Not just oatmeal or nothing like that. We would have a big breakfast because she didn't have enough for dinner.
Wow. Yeah, I don't even know. But I guess that what I'm saying is they did a good job because this is the first time I'm hearing of this.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, no, it's upside down day, guys. This is an event. This is not normal. This is like, oh yeah, it's upside down day. This is cool.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I thought it was like that too until Mom actually told me the truth. And it was like, no, that's not it.
I'm-
and she thought we knew.
I had no. I'm finding out right now. Your daughter told me. I had no idea.
So yeah, I think we need to really go back and reevaluate parenting and what that looks like, and stop.
And there's nothing wrong with your kids being upset because they didn't get what they want.
That's true.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
And sometimes don't give it to them on purpose, whether you can afford it or not. Don't give it to them, because life is not going to give them everything that they want, and they have to deal with it. And the saddest part is to see a grown man or a grown woman have a tantrum because they didn't get what they wanted.
A whole tantrum. I see people like that all the time at the airport.
Yeah.
They rich, stupid rich, and they want something done. And I'm like, yo, unfortunately, and they have a tantrum, a whole live tantrum, and I feel like that's super.
No, don't think it's a right or wrong in parenting. It doesn't come with a guide. Whatever your religious beliefs are is what your religious beliefs are. Mine was the Bible, so sometimes I have to go back to that and say, is this in line with what God wants me to do? Sometimes I have to go in and get advice, from other parents that have gone through it. My parents, aunts, uncles, friends, it doesn't matter. But I am always learning how to be a better parent. Like right now, this whole, new adult, this is new for me.
What did you say?
Him being an adult now.
Oh.
Like the new adult, because he's not a pre-adult. He's now an adult, but he's new to the whole adult thing. Christian. So at the end of the day, I have to figure out what that looks like, because I don't know what that looks like. Do I, we live in the same house here and there. He's in college, but you still can't do what you want to do until you get out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that look like? I don't tell him, no, you can't go out. I don't like it because of the fear. But at the end of the day, I'm learning how to let go and let him be an adult. I am learning how to my kids will not ever be put out at 18. I disagree with it. I don't like the fact that people put their kids out at 18 with nothing.
That's only us. It's only America. Only in the United States. Almost every other culture in the world are like, all right, when you get married and you good, you go out here and you figure it out. But until then, you stay here.
Yeah. Like I always wanted to have a place for my kids to come back to if they needed to. I always wanted to make sure that they were, like rent. And let's keep this quiet until they hit this point. But rent, I don't plan for them to pay me rent and I pay bills. I plan to take their rent, at least half of it, and save it. So when they leave with a nest egg. Not only the money that they save, but then also the money that I save they can put together. I want them to be able to go out here and purchase a home and have their down payment ready in cash money. Right? I want them to be financially free. I want them to be financially better than what I was.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, there are steps that has to be taken, and I'm still learning, so they have to continue to learn. But as a parent and me wanting and loving them so much, I'm willing to go the extra mile to learn and get that kind of information. So yeah, I mean,
I think you're 100% correct, and I think that's where a lot of people need to be like, yeah, I'm a parent now, and it's not about me, it's about my kids.
Right.
So, but yeah, hey man, that was I don't know what episode this was, but that's what that was, and
that's what it was.
That's it. That happened.
I will say, time went by fast talking about this because this was a very
So y'all can definitely tell us in the comments what y'all thought about that and y'all's opinions also, because like I said, we are no
experts and nobody. There's no right or wrong to parenting, but we do have to get control over our young kids this society.
It's the behavior for me. Like, you at least you want to put a young adult out in the world that at least will respect other people. And that's the biggest thing for me. That's why I have so much to give to the youth, but I can't, because I don't have the patience to deal with the behavior and all that. I don't have the patience. Like, I got friends out here that have whole entire programs that's like have the youth and they can help them like immediately, and I can't participate because I don't have the patience to deal with that back and forth
Right.
with a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm not here for that. I'm here. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to get you right, and you going back and forth with me.
And not only is it the child, but then the parent comes in.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's like they back the kid up. You know, and before we close, even think about it. Even at the schools, the teachers are afraid because if not only the kid but the parent.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, the reason why I have these counseling sessions or these parent teachers conference, I make sure that my child is there because I need my child to know that I am relinquishing my authority to the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So if that teacher says sit down and shut up, sit down and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
If they do something negative, if they curse at them, if they hit him, come talk to me later. We'll talk about it. But in that moment, you sit down and you do what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I'm not there to jump in. I tell them all the time, let's be a team. We got to figure this out together because I need them. I can't teach. I'm not a teacher. I have no patience to be a teacher. So I need them so bad to teach my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you need from me, I got you. But so many parents are just like, you said what to my kid? You so worried about what they said to your kid.
What your kid say to them?
Or what did your kid do to them? These kids are beating these teachers.
Crazy. It's craziness.
So just saying, guys, we gotta do better. You know better, you do better. Now we know, let's do better.
Nothing else left to say except subscribe, like, send it to your friends, y'all. But yeah, that's it. That's all we got for y'all today, man. I thought, hey, that's good stuff right there.
Good job.
That's good stuff. We'll see y'all next time, man. Y'all be easy.
Bye, guys.